welcome Dee from Naturebyday, and Dee is a jeweler. Hi Dee.
Hi Sarah, nice to meet you.
It's really lovely to chat to you and find out a bit more about you and a bit more about your beautiful jewellery. So, can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and about your shop and your product?
Yes, my name's Dee. I live in the Hereford-Shropshire border. I'm right on the border, with my husband Ken, who's Scottish, and my little rescue dog. And I've been making jewellery for about 4.5 years since I left a big job in London. My twin sister bought me a metal clay clasp for Christmas, and I was hooked instantly. I used to make jewellery as a teenager, beading and all that kind of thing. So I've always loved jewellery. I never leave the house without jewellery on. Feel naked.
Yeah, so a bit like that nail varnish.
So when I found metal clay, I just loved it. It's the silver comes in clay form, so you can basically mold it and make it and carve it into whatever you like you would with normal clay, but obviously on a smaller scale. You then fire it, and then you're left with 99.9% pure silver. So it's a gorgeous white silver. There's no copper added to it or nickel. So anyone
impurities.
There's nothing in it. So anyone who's allergic to some metals wouldn't be allergic to this because there's nothing added. It's also recycled, which is another thing which is really good about it. It's all made from reclaimed silver, so there's no mining involved, and it's reclaiming it from things like X-rays, car windscreens with the little bits of silver that run through, that sort of thing. So it really is making use of human waste that otherwise would just go.
Well, I never knew that. Oh, so you learn something new every day, don't you? And also, I must tell our viewers that you've done a wonderful video that actually shows you making the product. So I will direct people to that at the end of this.
Oh,
they can
thank
actually
you.
see how you
it's all a bit speeded up, so but yeah, no, it's fun.
And your shop name, Naturebyday, tells us you're very inspired by nature, and you do a lot of seashells. So how did that come about? How did it come about that you really thought, seashells are the perfect thing for jewellery?
Oh, right. Well, I've been very lucky and I've travelled a lot. And I've been to some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I have been very lucky. I was a backpacker for 2.5 years, so I literally did live on beaches. I collected a lot of seashells, which is a little bit naughty these days. You're supposed to leave them where you find them. But I have an amazing collection of beautiful shells, and shells have, like crystals, they have, some people believe they have healing powers, but they all have symbolization, and also are really good for the female energy. So they can help you draw the things you most desire into your life. Even an image of a seashell gives you a bit of positive energy. They also have symbolization, some really beautiful symbolization and stories.
So do you talk about their symbolization when you're selling the product as well?
I do. Like this Kadita clamshell, for example.
Very good.
This is a pear, so I've got the other half of that. So in ancient times, before photography, before even people used to do little sketches or cut out the little pictures of each other, make them. So imagine a sailor, a young sailor who's got a sweetheart and they're to be married, and they're going off, he's got to go off on some big voyage across the flat sea, the flat world. They would together go and find a pair of shells, so say a pair of clam shells, and they would each keep one half of those shells, because those shells are unique. They fit together like no other two clam shells, and they both keep them close to their heart, like a keepsake, like a photograph would be nowadays, until they were reunited, and then the shells would be reunited. And if they ever got married, then they would engrave the shells would be engraved on the inside, and then they would be glued together, stuck back together, and then kept for them as their sort of talisman for their marriage, to keep them safe and together.
Oh, that is so nice.
I know, it's really romantic, isn't it?
It is. Oh, golly gosh. I'm learning so much today. Oh, how interesting. Oh, yeah, I can see why you're into shells. Yeah.
Clams and cockle shells are symbols of love and friendship. So, yeah, that's where that comes from. And they've all got things, yeah.
Like that. Oh, you could go on telling stories. Like, yeah.
Waffle, when I get on one.
I never got all day. Do you take on custom orders as well, or not?
Yes, I do. I can tweak whatever I've got in my shop as well, like put different chains on the things, but I do commissions. So if you found a shell on your honeymoon, for example, and you wanted it a silver version, I can turn it into silver, take a mold and then make the shell into silver. I've done some really, most romantic story is I had a guy who, when he went on his first date with his now wife, they had a bowl of mule mariniere, so mussel shells.
Yeah, yeah.
Kept one of those shells, and then he got me to make it. So about 3 years after they'd met, their first date, he got me to make the mussel shell he'd kept into a necklace for her for when he proposed. I know.
You'll have me tearing up. Oh, golly gosh. See, this is fabulous being able to talk to you and find out so much more about your jewellery. You know, it's lovely to have all those stories. And so you told us how you started, really. You got a kit, and that was like the wow moment.
Bought me a day with a lady who works in metal plate. So she bought me a day with this lady, basically, and that was it. And then I was hooked. Yeah, and then I joined the London School of Jewellery, and basically it's gone from there. I've learnt my skills and made my own way of doing things. And yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it.
I love it. Yeah, it sounds it. So when you start your working day, how do you start your day? What's the first thing you do?
Well, first thing I do is give my little rescue girl a big cuddle while the kettle's on. She has her breakfast. Then a strong cup of coffee. If it's sunny, I'll sit outside and go through my Etsy shop, make sure there's no orders or messages. Instagram, Facebook, emails the same. Make sure haven't got and missed anything during the night, because orders come in from all over the world and people asking questions. So I like to get back to people as soon as I can. So that's the first thing I do in the morning. Make sure I haven't missed anyone. Get back to them.
Yeah, I think we're all a bit like that. And what do you think is the best thing about running your own business? What would you say?
I think, well, I've worked in luxury retail for over 25 years. It was where my main career was. So my way of looking at retail and selling is helping people. It's not about a hard sell, it's about helping people solve a problem. And I think working for myself and being able to sell my own creations is just amazing. You've got the freedom of working for yourself. You've also got the freedom of worrying about the bills if you're not getting any sales. But it's about helping people, really, solving a problem. Somebody's got a gift, they don't know what to buy. So yeah, that's the best thing. And just when I get a message back or review saying how happy somebody is, that's just brilliant. It's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. And you have some fabulous reviews. I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I get lots of lovely comments.
Yeah, I'm not surprised now I've heard all these lovely stories. So if there were 3 tools in your workshop that you just couldn't do without, they would be the 3 you would save if there was a calamity, what would they be? What would they be?
Probably my rotary tool, which is basically a drill with a flex wire on it. And then put all my different polishing pads on it, which are only tiny, they're about this big. I polish everything by hand. There's 6 different stages. So without that, without this little thing that I can get into all the nooks and crannies with and get a really lovely professional finish, I would, yeah. No. Doesn't thinking about. And my kiln, my kiln is my absolute pride and joy. Without that, you can blowtorch the metal clay and sinter it that way, but with a kiln, you know that you're getting the best professional sintering and making sure that it's really strong and it is absolutely perfect. So that, and then my little rubber block, which is about this big, it's just rubber, it's not very square anymore, and because everything's so small, you can rest things on it, and my files are about this big, so it's all very, and you can get a bit closer to
yeah, all very intricate and delicate. Do you have to wear glasses when you do
I have a magnifying mirror, not a magnifying lamp, which I look through. I do wear contacts, and my contacts aren't great for close up. No. So I also wear reading glasses if I haven't got my magnifying light. Yeah, no, it's got a very good magnifying bit. Couldn't live without it as well.
And what made you decide to take part in this event with the Hereford Etsy team and Etsy in general? What made you decide to take part?
I think it's about helping people again, really. I love being part of the Hereford Etsy team. When you work for yourself, it's a bit lonely, so it's like having a bunch of colleagues and people who you know, you can chat to and ask questions to. But I think at the moment we're all, you know, the whole world's in turmoil, and we've got to find new ways of connecting with people. We can't do our markets, we can't meet people in person. Most of my business is online, so this is a real way of connecting with people. Also doing something fab with a bunch of other amazing makers and supporting each other. You know, that's what being a small business.
To say, it's a lovely team, and we have so many fabulous creative people, and they're all, like you say, sort of hiding away in their studios or their little workshops, and it's a way, like this, it's a way of finding out more about you. And I think it does help to know something about the person behind the product.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just being, you know, we can all support each other, you know, and promote each other. You know, we have all us little small businesses have to stick together, and this is a new way of doing it, you know, online. And so why not give it a go?
This will be the way to go, won't it?
Yeah.
And the nice thing about this is we don't have to wear a mask to talk to each other.
No, exactly.
Right. Oh, thank you, dear. It's been lovely. It's been fascinating hearing all about your business, and I love all those romantic stories. I could interview again and just hear about seashells and their romantic connotations and things. That's really been lovely talking to you. So thank you very much indeed, and I hope you have a wonderful event.
Thank you.
Sell lots of silver seashells to all those lovers out there.
Oh, thank you. No, it's been lovely. Thank you very much for interviewing me. Yeah.
That's all right. Hi, we're going now to talk to Nikki, who runs her business, LittlePencilDesign. Hi, Nikki. Lovely to see you. Lovely to chat.
Hi.
You look.
Hi, Sarah.
You look gorgeous as always.
Thank you very much. Do you recognise the headband?
Yeah, I think I do. Right. Well, let's start by you telling us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your business, which would be wonderful.
Okay, well, I'm Nikki and I run LittlePencilDesign, which is the home of cute and punny stationery. So I trained as a graphic designer, worked as a graphic designer, and decided that I wanted to do less corporate stuff and create cute things that I would look for and find in shops, and it would make me do this kind of face. And that's what I wanted to give to other people. So I set up LittlePencilDesign. We make greetings cards, we make stickers, we make lifestyle products and all kinds of things. And they're all featuring cute kawaii designs.
Oh, how long does it take you from getting an idea for something to inception and the finished product, and sort of describe your processes?
Depending on how busy I am with orders, I could do with another pair of hands, but it probably takes me about 2 months going from first of all sketching out what I want to do. I might have even written a note down in one of my notebooks or many planners. Then I'll sketch it out on my iPad, and then I'll eventually get around to inking it and colouring it in. Then it goes onto the computer. Then those designs are made, and then they're turned into stickers and different things like that. Depending on what I can do, it's either done in-house or it's sent to another UK small business. So probably about 2 months.
Yeah, it's quite a long process then. You always, when you buy a card or anything, you look at it and think, oh, that probably didn't take all that long. So yeah, I'm surprised. I can see how you're such a busy woman. Yeah.
Yeah, Valentine's Day is our worst. It's our best and our worst time of year.
So you've always got to work months in advance for a special time of year, haven't you? So
yeah, I'm currently working on Halloween, autumn/Halloween, and I'm also working on Christmas stuff already. And then come November, we will be printing out Valentine's Day cards, knowing in advance that we need to have those ready.
Oh, so no wonder you're a planner, girl. You have to plan really well. Yeah, I got you.
I try.
Yeah. Excuse me. Now, you designed your own very cute little character, Flump. He's got legions of followers. He appears on lots of your products. Yeah. How did he come into being? And I say he, is he a he? Or is he sort of...
He is a he. He's a little, I think, marshmallow, but he won't let me test it because every time I try, he screams. So, he came about, I wanted to start doing digital products, which still hasn't happened. But I wanted to draw a cute character for myself, and it is very much me living vicariously through this little character. He is a he is only little, so he's only a baby to us. So
I had an idea for Flump and he appeared.
I had an idea and I drew him on the way to Japan on the aeroplane. I sketched him up, and then I was in a lot over in Japan, and yeah, he's just taken on a little life of his own. He's literally here.
Oh, he's dead cute. Love him. Do you also take on custom work and, you know, personalised orders and things like that?
Yes, I do a hell of a lot of business stickers for small businesses. So that's probably a third of what we do. And I love working with all different small businesses. I've worked with a number of the Etsy team as well. And then I'll do customized stickers, or I will do customized notebook covers, or whatever people want. Usually if I can do it, I will.
Oh, that's great. So if anybody wants stickers or anything personalised for their business, you're the lady to go to. Yeah. What do you love
indeed.
most about, yeah, what do you love most about being an Etsy seller? And you're also co-captain of the Hereford Etsy team. So what are your thoughts about being an Etsy seller, and what do you love about being in the team?
The Etsy seller is a community. Just absolutely amazing. When I moved from Bristol back up to Hereford, and I was so worried about not having any creatives around me, and within 2 months I've got this whole bunch of people who have all become amazing friends, who all support each other, and we've managed to collaborate in so many different ways. And being on as an Etsy seller worldwide, it's a brilliant platform, but we have people from all over the UK and all over the world who want to help each other and get inspired. So
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
yeah, I know, it's great. And we sort of met through Etsy and then became friends and teammates and co-captains and all that sort of thing. So yeah,
it's been amazing.
Horizons.
It definitely has. Like, as you said, I can still remember going to my first ever Etsy meeting, and I was nervous as hell when I stayed down for a drink afterwards, and that's probably where we've stayed.
As I ever said.
And we've become firm friends, but I've also, we've done so many stuff with other members of our team, which is fantastic. Whether it's logos or whether it's stickers or whether it's getting the lovely buttons by Emma, who's left us to make Flump.
Yeah, right.
We do all of these things, so it's fantastic, and it's fantastic to have you as our leader to steer the ship.
Well, I enjoy it, and I enjoy all your company, and I love everybody's products. I mean, we just have some fabulous products. So if you had one piece of advice for anyone starting up, either their own business or on Etsy, what would it be?
Just go for it. That sounds terrible, isn't it? It's very cliche, but just jump in with both feet. You can spend a long time worrying and being concerned about it. With regards to being an Etsy seller, learn SEO. Search engine optimization, and use eRank. It's brilliant. That's 2 major things that you want to get in straight away.
Because I think it's sometimes creative people, they want to set up their own business and they want to sell their product, but they have that mindset of, oh, I'm not good enough, or my product's not good enough, imposter syndrome.
100%. Yeah, definitely. I have that, and when I released Flump, because he was my own character, I still don't believe I can draw. Can draw a round little marshmallow, but yeah. So it is big and scary, and it's very for any creative, it's a personal thing that you've created. So to put it on display and see what people are saying about it, it's very scary. It's why I say just do it, jump in with both feet. You never know what will bring.
And he's become wildly successful. You have a lead of Flump followers and Flump fans. So yeah, really, really good. It's been lovely chatting to you, Nikki. I've enjoyed it, and you've got a very colourful workshop there with your.
I have it.
Back. Yeah.
It's a bit of a mess at the moment. It's very much a working area, working studio.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing, isn't it? Having somewhere to work and get on and be creative. Yeah,
definitely. When I started, I was in a corner of my mother-in-law's kitchen. Now I need space.
Yeah, now you have space.
As you know, you've got to tidy it all up for when you're filming. So as you can see, tripods around the back.
Yeah, I've had to decamp to my dining room because my studio is too small. But there we are. Yeah. Thank you very much, Nikki. It's been lovely.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. now going to welcome Libby Gardiner, who is a jeweller, and she runs her business, LibbyGardinerSilver. Hi, Libby.
Hi, Sarah. Nice to meet you. Sara, beg your pardon. Nice to meet you.
Sarah, and the other one's Sara. Fancy having two captains that have got the same name, but say it differently. Never mind. It's lovely to chat to you and find out all about you. So what I'd like to do first of all is just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and your shop and your jewellery. So,
okay. So I'm actually very new to Etsy. I only joined mid-February this year, and my silver is a hobby that just, like I think a lot of people, got completely out of control. And I actually only started selling maybe two and a half years ago. So I'm a relative novice to this, but I'm loving it. I was selling at shows, but of course that's not happening anymore. I started late in life. I went to an adult education class and fell in love with working with silver. I'm not from an artistic or design background, so it was a bit of a revelation for me. And basically, I try to produce affordable handmade jewellery that's got a variety of elements and just across the board. I just want to sort of share my love of it.
Yeah. And you like wearing jewellery?
I do. I probably wear less jewellery now than I used to, which is a bit ironic actually. But
yeah.
Well,
a bit like me, I started making hats because I liked wearing hats, but I haven't got a hat on now. Never mind. So where do you find the inspiration for all your pieces? Does it come from anywhere and everywhere, or?
A little bit of that. It's an eclectic sort of mix. Quite largely nature-based, which I think a lot of people find inspiration from that. I do a lot of walking in Herefordshire and in the surrounding counties, and I do find myself looking at flowers, plants, leaves, stones even, and I like to look at the structure of something. And you know, nature's both simple and incredibly complex, and I often think, oh wow, I wonder what that would look like, and I have a go, and it comes from just a complete mixture, and I just have a go at whatever I think might work.
I think that's the best way sometimes, isn't it? And it's nice to keep a sort of be on the lookout all the time for inspiration.
Definitely,
isn't it?
yeah.
I do that when I wander about in the garden. Do you? What's your favourite thing to make? What's your favourite thing?
Really hard. If I'm not making, I miss it. Sometimes when you're making, you think, "Ooh, why did I start this?" But basically, probably something that has quite a complex process to it. You know, different skill sets and a progression. I haven't got them on Etsy at the moment, but I make small boxes. I want to try and get some on for Christmas. They're quite high end. They're quite labour intensive, but they take a lot of skill set, and they're just really cute. The other thing I like is I do a very little bit of PMC work, precious metal clay work, mainly with leaves, and I enjoy that because it's quite therapeutic. There's a whole slow process to build up the clay and then fire it, so I quite like that.
Ah, right. Do you have a workshop or a special area in your house? Or
no, I'm very lucky actually. I have a dedicated, very small outbuilding in the garden. It was a pig shed in the days when the house was probably a small holding, it's a very old house. And then it evolved into a children's sort of Wendy house playroom. And then it's become my little workshop, which my partner very kindly built me a jeweller's bench in. And he's just recently put in underfloor heating for me because it's very cold in the winter. It has a concrete floor. It's a wee bit too small. I have to do things like etching, and I have my kiln somewhere else. But it's very much my space. I call it my she cave, and I love it. I like the smell of it when I go in. It's my place. It's lovely.
It is nice to have your own little space, isn't it? And lock yourself away and be creative.
It's like a garden shed, isn't it? Really.
Yeah. Do you sketch your designs before you do them, or do you just sort of leap in and give it a go?
bit of the latter, really. I'm not good at art. I didn't even do art at school. Unfortunately, at 13, my art teacher told me she thought I'd never passed what was then O-level. So I gave it up, and I never picked, I just didn't bother. It's weird. And as I said, when I went to college, I discovered I obviously had the need for some kind of creative outlet. So I find it easier to go from a design concept straight to actually playing in 3D. For me, that's simpler. The downside of that is that if you've got a commission, it's hard to explain to somebody what you're going to do. But my partner trained as a draftsman and actually is a qualified engineer. And he actually has done some blacksmithing in his youth. So he's brilliant. He can interpret what I'm trying to do and put it on paper for me.
Oh, that's handy. Yeah.
He's very supportive. He's very, very good. In fact, without him, I would never have got selling this far. So.
Oh, that's always good.
And the plus side of not really planning everything is that you get involved. You know, you start something and it evolves. So you might end up with something quite a lot different, but you're pleased with the result. So you know, yeah, it is.
So what made you decide to choose to sell on Etsy? Had you looked around at other platforms, or you just...
I did. I looked at one of the very big ones and didn't like it, and I looked at a couple of other ones around. I knew of Etsy. I had bought not a lot, but a couple of things on Etsy. When I was doing the shows, people were asking me where they could find me outside of doing the shows. I wanted to do my own website. Everybody seems to know of Etsy, and I know it's reliable, I know it's respected, and actually for me, I found it very easy. I still find it relatively easy to use. It's not a complicated platform to use, so it's worked quite well. I mean, it's early days for me. It's only 5-6 months in, but it's working for me. And a few people who've met me at shows have found me on Etsy and gone, "Oh wow, great! You know, we know where you are." So it's worked.
Yeah, that's the thing for a small business, isn't it? Having somewhere that people can find you, and look at your product and that, and plan for their Christmas presents.
Well, I definitely had a sale from a previous customer on Etsy, so that's quite.
That works good. So, what plans or aspirations do you have for the business in the future? Do you want to grow, or are you happy the way you are? Or
I'd like to grow a bit. I think I've done many things in life. I wouldn't want it to take over my life completely. It does in a funny sort of way, because I'm always thinking about it. I like to grow my client base, and I need to move maybe to, I'm only UK selling at the moment. I need to move to maybe some international selling, because why not? But slowly, Etsy will allow me to do that, I know. So I'll see how it goes. You know, there's lots more design concepts I want to try to get out there as well. So it's just watch this space, really.
Yeah, keep plugging away.
Yeah.
I know, difficult when you're a creative and you have all these ideas for things and you think, oh, which one shall I do first? I have to do that. Yeah. Oh, well, it's been lovely talking to you, Libby. It's really interesting to hear how other people plan their products, what they do, and how they go about it. We're now welcoming on our Meet the Maker, Vicky, Victoria Gregory, who runs MissGregorys. Hiya, Vicky. Lovely.
Hi.
On this lovely sunny day. Well, it was a minute ago. It's really nice to chat to you and find out all about your product and how you make it. So first off, if you tell everybody just a little bit about yourself and your products and your shop and everything, just before we sort of launch into more in-depth.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm Vicky, and my shop on Etsy is MissGregorys, and that's short for Miss Gregory's Gorgeous Gifts, which I've had to condense the title a little bit, but that's fine. I live in just over the border from Hereford in Wales, and on farmland. Sorry for me stumbling over my words, I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, that's all right.
I specialise in making little crocheted creatures called amigurumi. Yeah, that's my main product.
And how long have you been on Etsy?
Oh, I think I joined Etsy in 2012, but I wasn't very what's the word?
Prolific?
Yes. I used to make sock monkeys, so it was I've had a change of direction in my business since then, and yeah, I use Etsy all the time now, whereas before I didn't.
I have to ask, how do you say it? Amigurumi?
It's amigurumi. Amigurumi.
Amigurumi.
Amigurumi.
So where does that originate, and what is amigurumi?
Right, it's a Japanese term, and it means a crocheted or knitted doll. Typically, they're small. They have big heads and usually large eyes as well. So I've got like one of mine here.
Yes, show.
Oh, my screen's on. Funny.
Yeah, you're freezing a bit.
Mm.
No, don't worry. I can always. Oh, he's so cute. He's so cute. He's so lovely.
But technical difficulties.
No, don't worry about it. I've had those all day long. Oh, he's really sweet. He's really sweet. So when and where did you learn to crochet?
My nana taught me to crochet when I was little. I was knitting a big blanket and she taught me how to crochet a border all the way around the outside. And then I didn't touch a crochet hook again until probably about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago, something like that. And I don't think I've stopped since. So I love it.
So it's a bit addictive once you get going.
Oh yes, it is. Yeah.
What for you is the best thing about selling on Etsy?
It's a ready-made audience. The people on there are looking for handmade. They're looking for products that have got character and are unique, and I fit right in. That's exactly where I need to be. Yeah,
because yours are unique. I notice it says that you design all your patterns.
Mm-hmm.
So how difficult is that, and how do you start? Where do you start? Do you have an idea for a creature, or where do you start with that? And is it a difficult process?
Well, it's not so much difficult as time consuming, really. I generally have an idea of roughly what I want to make, and then I'll have a look on Google, and I'll actually Google photographs of that particular animal just to get an idea of what features I want to include. And then I do a really, really rough sketch. And my sketches are awful. They don't look like what I have in my head at all.
I think that's like all of us.
But at least I've got something to be a bit of a guide for when I actually start to crochet them. And then it's a question of just starting. I crochet until it looks like what I want it to look like. There's a lot of undoing and redoing, and sometimes I have to scrap it all and start again. And I just carry on until it looks like what I have in my head.
Oh.
And there we are. That's my process.
Oh, so it's quite difficult, really, to get a finished product. It's not a swift, smooth process, I suppose.
No, occasionally something will come off straight away, but other times it just doesn't work. I tried to make like a dachshund kind of dog once, and it's just like, what a waste of time that was. It just keeps overbalancing. It's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Steer clear.
Not do that.
Steer clear of that. And where's your workspace? Do you have a dedicated workspace, or do you crochet wherever you are?
I do have a dedicated workspace. I'm really lucky. I've got a spare room in my house, and I use it for a workshop. I share it with my sons, but they do their homework in there as well. A bit of ironing goes on in there, but generally it's work, and I can leave everything out, and I can shut the door at the end of the day and go back to it the next day, which is brilliant. So lucky.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Because if your work space overspills into your sort of home space, it's
Yeah.
hard to separate the two, isn't it?
It really is. I've done that in the past and it's so hard.
Yeah. And are you an organised maker then? Are you organised or?
Sometimes I'm I'm organised as far as my paperwork is concerned. I can't bear having it hanging around, so I get it sorted immediately. So it's all tidy, it's out the way, and it's not hanging over me. So in that respect, I am organised, but my workroom is a tip at the moment. So in that respect, perhaps I'm not.
Do your little creatures sell to all types and ages of people? Do you find they appeal
Yes.
to everybody? Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, I have noticed, especially recently, actually, I get more adults buying for themselves than buying for children. People like to have them on their desks, and
Yeah, I can imagine they would. And it's something to give you a smile, isn't it?
yeah, that's it. Cheer you up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially in these times.
Absolutely.
Do you ever do customized ones? If someone, I mean, if
Yeah.
I shall say, if someone comes for a duck sound, so I shall say no. But do you do customized ones and things?
Yeah,
like
quite
that?
often. If someone wants me to make something in particular, I'll design something for them, and then it'll become part of my product range.
Oh, right.
I do a little wolf pup that started off as a commission.
Oh,
And I do a weasel, which actually started off as a ferret for somebody. So I morphed it slightly, but yeah.
yeah. So how many animals do you stock really?
Oh, it's grown. Yeah. I don't know. Now you're asking.
Oh,
You got
well.
me on the hop there.
No, sorry. I suddenly thought I actually got this whole menagerie, you know.
But it's quite a few now. I do a dragon, a lion, a cat, dog, unicorn. What else? Dragon. Did I say dragon?
Yeah.
Wolf pup.
Yeah, I've seen you drag.
Weasel, sorry. So that's about 8.
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been fascinating. And I now know how to say amigurumi. Is that right?
Nearly. Amigurumi.
Amigurumi.
Yes. It's a tricky word. It is tricky.
So that I remember, because when I first sort of saw your product, I thought, how do you say that?
You can call them pocket toys or pocket animals.
Yeah, it
It's
doesn't sound as good. Doesn't sound as good. Oh, it's been really nice talking to you, Vicky.
Yeah, and you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I said earlier to another interviewee, it's a bit confusing having 2 Saras or Sarahs on the team, isn't it? Spelled the same.
They call me.
No, don't worry. No, it's been really nice talking to you, Vicky.
Yeah, and you.
Lots of people come and look at your gorgeous, cute animals. Show us again, just so.
What we got? We've got a unicorn here, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's so sweet. You got any others to show just before we go?
Well, I've got a new design which isn't actually on my Etsy shop yet. I've only got a prototype, so but it's coming soon. Sneak peek for you.
Ooh.
So
Oh,
I've redesigned my lion, so this is the new style lion.
oh, he's so lovely. Oh, yeah, a little tail. You just want to stroke him all day, wouldn't you?
No, it was cute.
You look very good on my desk. I might be on to you later. Right, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I hope you have a fab event and a fab rest of the day.
Thank you, and you.
Right.
Everybody, let me invite one of my co-captains, the lovely Sara from SaraMilesArtist, to join me for a chat today. Hi Sara, can you tell me a little bit about your shop and how you got started?
my shop on Etsy is called SaraMilesArtist. I sell a range of, sorry, dog's just come in. Good start. I sell a range of products all based on my contemporary ink drawings. So I sell wearable art pieces, which are all originals that I set inside jewellery. Yeah, got yours on.
I got this one on.
And more recently, I've been doing a range of greeting cards and prints from my originals.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you have an amazing Gothic style, which I can see on the wall behind you. This
Start my gallery, yeah.
This style comes through in your designs. Now, have you always had that, or is this something that has developed over time?
It's definitely developed over time. When I opened my Etsy shop initially, I was selling more pictures of sort of birds, animals, that sort of thing, because I like drawing animals. And then when I started an Instagram account, I discovered Inktober, and from just searching up other artists, I found that there was sort of a demand for Gothic art, and I've always been into spooky stuff, cute spooky stuff, ghost stories, horror films, that sort of thing. So it's sort of all developed from there, really.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Inktober is definitely a good one for people to try out and see all the different drawing styles that you get in Inktober.
Yes.
So I have been to your gorgeous spooky house that you speak of. But what inspires you to make a piece, and how long does it take you from the idea to the finished product?
Okay. Sort of I draw my inspiration mainly probably from books, from things that I've read. For example, recently I read a book about a sort of a haunted painting with a devil in it, and I started drawing little devils after reading it because it inspired me. As for time scale, each piece is completely different. Sometimes I can do a piece from start to finish in about 20 minutes. As featured on my Instagram stories, my little murder tree. There's a time-lapse video which is on my highlights that you can see. But I always do preliminary drawings, and they obviously take longer. And I never draw in pencil or do any rubbing out. I always just draw in ink. So I'm a bit of a paper waster in that respect, but luckily I draw really, really small. So I can end up with a table full of preliminary sketches, but they're really, really small. So it's fine.
Do you have a tiny sketchbook, or do you just use different pieces of paper?
Yeah, I do have a sketchbook. I do usually use just mixed media paper in a pad, because if it goes right straight away, I think, oh, brilliant, it's done. But if it goes wrong, I just sort of think, oh, turn over the page. But more recently, I've been using a book, because I did an Instagram challenge called the Midsummer Night Art Challenge. And I thought it'd be quite nice to have a record of it, of all my drawings in one place. So they're in a book now. So I'm ready for the next challenge. I can carry on through the book.
Nice. So that means that anybody who wants to see that can go over to your Instagram and see all of your new pieces that you did for that challenge. Yeah.
They will be available at some point in my shop, but obviously we've been a bit busy lately, haven't we, Nikki?
Just a small amount. So what is your favourite thing to make in your shop?
I like everything I make in my shop. Obviously it has to be good enough for me to want to put it in for sale. But I think more recently it's definitely my prints and my greetings cards. My greetings cards are really, really popular, as you know, and the nice thing about it is that I get to keep the original, which I might sell them at a later date, but I've got them here in my book. That's how small they are.
They look gorgeous. And
so if I take one out and hold it up, you can see.
Wow.
But they come out really, really nice as a print on a card. So it's nice that I've got all the originals, but people can enjoy them as well.
That's perfect. And I know from experience and testing, those actually fit in Tom's card stands.
Yep, if I scan across, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, I can.
Here.
Yeah.
So that's actually one of my business cards,
Wow.
but they're the same size roughly. It's got all my details on the back. But yeah, my pictures fit beautifully in Tom's little stands. Whoops.
Because they're afraid of a bit of cross promotion on Hereford.
Yeah.
Right. So, as I mentioned, you are one of the co-captains of the Hereford Etsy team.
Yep.
What's your favourite thing about Etsy?
My favourite thing about Etsy is definitely our team and all the live events that we've done and that we enjoy. The Christmas markets, they're amazing. We get great free feedback from those. And our team meetings, love those. Love having a drink and relaxing with everyone. We've got a great team. We're all friends. But I think my very favourite thing that we've done was the pop-up shop, which we ran for 6 weeks last summer. It was amazing. So much hard work, but what we got out of it was brilliant.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, and we had so much good feedback from it as well. A lot of people wanting us to stay on.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to stay, but we just couldn't because of cost issues.
Cost, and I think time for us as well. But it was fantastic to run it and to have join with the Worcester team, and
that was lovely
collaboration.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, and we are definitely very, very lucky with our team and our meetings, which hopefully, fingers crossed, soon we can have some again.
That would be amazing. We really miss them.
Yeah, so I guess you would recommend then, if somebody was starting out on Etsy, to join their local team if they can find one?
Definitely. I joined Etsy on the recommendation of a college friend of mine who's a successful artist, and I'd met her at a contemporary craft fair. I was there as a customer, and she had a stand there. We did HND illustration course together back in the 90s in Hereford at the College of Art, and I've got 3 children, and at this point I think my youngest was about 5, so I was just about getting a bit of time to sort of start crafting and drawing again, and I said, what should I do? I'm starting to make stuff, where would I sell it? And she said Etsy, 100% Etsy, because it's easy and it doesn't take away from your family life, and it's a great platform. So yeah, I would recommend it to anyone. But I did open an Etsy shop straight after that, and then I sort of had 10 items in there and didn't know what I was doing, and nothing happened until I joined the Hereford Etsy team. Turned up to the first meeting, got loads of advice, loads of tips, tidied up my shop, and started selling.
Yeah. No, I'm annoyed because I can't change it, but my Etsy shop was open in 2013, but I did nothing with it like you. Until I actually picked it up and joined the team, and then that's
the same with me. Yeah, mine says 2016 at the top, but really I didn't start selling properly till sort of the year before last, and it's sort of snowballed since then.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I would love to change the date. I have asked Etsy very nicely if we could change that date. You mentioned about your greetings cards, which are fantastic because you do have an alternative style and also a very alternative following. So what kind of range of cards do you do?
What do you mean exactly?
What
in the range
would as a greetings card sell it myself. What kind of occasions have you got available?
Okay. I have cards for all occasions. They do have a bit of a gothic edge.
Yeah.
And they're all mainly blank, so you can write whatever you want in. I've got some suitable for new baby, engagement, birthday. I haven't done Christmas yet, but it's definitely coming. Yeah, that'll be exciting. But I mean, the thing is, I've got a sort of a customer base now, so I have some lovely people that buy off me, and whenever I put a new card in my shop, they buy it straight away, as if they're collecting them. One lovely lady sells custom dolls on Etsy, and she buys my cards in the masses because every time she sells a doll, and these dolls are sort of worth over £1,000 each, she writes one of my cards and puts it in with the doll. So
Wow.
that's really nice. Yeah.
Fantastic. And it is really good because particularly weddings are taking off to be a bit less traditional and have your own personality in. And so if you're going all out on that stage, you don't necessarily want to give a traditional wedding card to that couple. You want to have a bit
obviously, yeah. If it's for an alternative couple, they're not going to want a card from, you know, your corner shop. They're going to want something a bit different. So yeah,
that's fantastic. So finally, this is a mean question, and I do apologize in advance, but if you could only keep 3 tools, what would they be and why?
Probably my fine liner for when I sketch my preliminary sketches, my dipping pen, and my teeny tiniest paintbrush for like colouring in.
Wow. I have seen some of your videos, and I know that you've now got a YouTube channel yourself, so that you can go more of you doing time lapses of how you've made them and some of your amazing artwork. I just find it fascinating to watch the way you do it. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
No,
thanks, Nikki.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Lovely to see you.
And you. Right. Hi everyone, I'm Nikki, one of the co-captains from Hereford Etsy team, and today I am super excited to be with a fellow planner shop owner and the gorgeous Toni from FabPlannerPrint. Hi Toni.
Hiya.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Now I need to make sure you do have a Diet Coke ready, because I can't have you under-sugared.
Always. Right next to me.
You and I are good friends, and we have spent a lot of time together at conventions, so we do know what the other one's like a bit, and I know that you definitely need your Diet Coke to keep you going.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Your shop, FabPlannerPrint, you are over 16,000 sales. You're actually closer to 17,000. Tell me how you got started and what made you join Etsy.
I have always been a planner since as far back as I can remember. You will probably remember them, the fun facts, white planners when we were little. So I used to have one of those and carried on and got the Filofax planners, which I think again is another staple start. But when I was on maternity leave, I actually found planner stickers on Etsy. So I spent a couple of months buying planner stickers, at which point my husband suggested it might be worth me making my own to save some pennies. So I got the silhouette, got on well with it, really, really well with it. made myself some kits, some weekly kits, and posted a few layout pictures on Facebook groups, and people started asking if I would sell them. So I already had a shop open, FabPlannerPrint, which was actually going to be for printable planner inserts, but I decided I would just throw a couple of kits on and see how they went, and that was it really. It just took off from there. It was crazy.
Wow. And you're very, very close to your next milestone.
I am. I believe I'm just coming up towards the 17,000 milestone. So I hope by the end of the month I will be at my 17,000, which has been a goal for a little while. That was my next goal for myself to reach. So
that's fantastic. So you've mentioned a budget. How much is your sticker budget a month?
Well, I don't actually have a budget anymore. I found that I kept on exceeding my budget. So the logical thing to do with that was just to remove the budget. But this is where we're very, very lucky as planner girls that we can put it all under the heading of research, and no one can complain. So yes, slightly naughty, but no.
It's research, and also, you know, you've got to have all the different size planners so that we can make the kits to fit all the planners.
Exactly, pure research. Yes.
So you sell all kinds of planner goodies in your shop, and when we're at events, there is usually a queue forming. You're always next to me, and there's a queue forming for your stall. But what is your favourite item in the shop?
Oh my goodness. I think I have two. Mm-hmm. I think it's got to be the adhesive planner pockets, because they just add so much to a planner. I think they make it so pretty and they're functional, and they always are the first things to go. And the second has to be my stand of my hand-drawn doodle stickers, just because they're my own. And I think when you draw something and then you see people buying it and putting it in the planners, it gives you that just an extra sense of achievement, I think. So yeah, definitely the doodle hand.
I absolutely love your doodles, and I was using your doodle checklist only last night. So.
Yeah.
Now,
those sneaky swaps.
Yes. Yes. Don't tell people about the sneaky swaps. Yeah, we're very lethal when we are next to each other with planner conventions, because we usually shop at each other's shops when there's a free moment.
Yes, it's well, we do, don't we? We get there a bit early and help each other set up. So as we're helping each other put out the stock, you then see exactly what you want, and the list just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So yes, yeah. It's a problem.
You get to ask them very nicely if you can put it behind till later as well. It always
exactly, and then try and hide how big the pile is getting, so no one realizes just how naughty you are with planner stickers.
Yes, it's not a problem. We can always stop if we want to, but we don't.
Yes, we don't, no.
So you recently introduced a little character, Wiggle, to your shop. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
I can. So Wiggle is a little bear. I've got a couple of things to show you. So this is the introduction to Peekaboo Wiggle on this little clip there. And then you see Wiggle in his full glory on the Santa sheets.
Wow.
So Wiggle is a tiny little bear. And he's very cute. I think he's very, very cute. But Wiggle is a bit of a grumpy bear. He's a bit cheeky, he's a bit naughty, and he definitely relies on being a little bit cute to get away with it. Bit of attitude maybe, I think.
I don't know where you got that from at all.
Well, you know, as we know, I think we always end up making characters that have our own personality traits. So an out-and-out cute little bear just wouldn't fit with FabPlannerPrint or me. So we had to have a little bit of naughtiness in there. Yeah, a little bit.
And I believe he is based off a childhood toy.
He is. Wiggle is based off a little teddy bear that I had when I was a child. And it happened to be the first teddy bear that my little boy liked. And he also gravitated a lot towards pink. So even though Wiggle is a little boy, he does have the little pink accents to him. Because we all love a little bit of pink in this house. And yeah, he was really special. I started drawing him a couple of years ago when my other character, I'd just fallen out of love with my other character, but it wasn't the right time. But I think in the last couple of months, it's definitely been the time to bring Wiggle to life, so to speak.
Yeah, and he is absolutely adorable. And I am going to just, this is this week's week of Wiggle.
Oh,
and Wiggle has said planner pocket with all Wiggle in him.
it.
And then,
Oh, sweet.
let me just, this is next week. Wiggle has just taken over my planner. So,
Oh, that's so lovely.
and it's a genuine love that I have for your products in general, but Wiggle as well. It's not so much just promoting. We are genuinely amazing friends, and also just, I love your stuff.
This is it though, isn't it? I think you see someone who has just as much passion as you for creating, and we have that link where we both love drawing, and we have particular styles of drawing as well, and we're quite different in the way we draw and how the characters are, because Flump is definitely an absolute little cutie. But the fact then you can use each other's, and we both know the qualities up there with where we want it to be. It's lovely, isn't it? We can help promote each other, and yeah, just have that.
Yeah,
I don't even know what you would call it, really. It's just
off each other really well. We we chatted before online, and you coming up to me at the first planner meet I was at and said hi, and that was it. And we've been meeting up. We didn't realise how close we lived together, and we've been meeting up. Unfortunately, due to COVID, this has stopped us. But we've had many fun times, and we always support each other, whether it's a phone call of, oh God, can you look at this, or yeah,
it is, isn't it? I think, you know, having that person that you can kind of message and say, oh my gosh, help me, jump on, give me a hand, or I've got a sale coming up. And yeah, it has been a tricky time, isn't it? But my husband does know when I say I'm just going to give Nick a quick call, and you can see him going an hour later. What's going on, isn't it?
Yes, it's usually a bit of a catch up, and you know, setting the words right. But it is absolutely lovely to have such a talented shop owner as yourself, as such a close friend, but also so close by that we can meet up. And you know, we've actually had sessions where we've sat and drawn together, haven't we?
Yes, yeah, met up over many cups of coffee, cafe hopping, which is, I've got to say, one of my most favourite days out, going to do a bit of cafe hopping and drawing. I don't think you can get a better day than that. And we are very lucky, aren't we? Especially with working from home. You know, it can get a little bit lonely, I think. The four walls kind of close in on you a little bit. So to be able to get out and about and meet up with someone who knows exactly what it's like running the shop as well is lovely. It's been really great.
Yeah, Etsy in general, Etsy sellers, it's brilliant being part of a team who know what it's like to run on Etsy, but particularly with regards to planner stickers and things where it's a higher volume and turnaround of things. Right. Good to have somebody who you can go, help quickly.
Yes, yeah. And as well, because when you mention, you know, when people say, so what do you do in your business? And you stand there and you go, planner stickers. And you get this kind of glazed, you either get the glazed look or you just get this insane amount of squealing. And then you realise it's also a fellow planner girl and you've just met another one. And I think that sums up the whole planning community, really, doesn't it? It is that instant kind of, you have something in common straight away.
Yes, and then you find amazing other things in common with them, but it is just a fantastic community. And the squealing, I love it when you find a secret planner girl that she wouldn't know, and then suddenly fantastic.
Yeah, it's when you see someone out and about with the file of facts, then oh right, okay. Shall I go over?
So I'm sure we have some planner girls watching. I'm going to ask you, what planner do you currently use, or are you going to, oh, I've lost you.
Yeah, that's me, sorry. Right. Bear with me a second.
I'm going to have a drink.
There we are, me too.
Okay. So I'm sure we have some planner girls watching. What planner are you actually using at the moment, or are you going to break the secret rule of planner owner shop?
Right, well, you can see in the background I have shelves of planners. I also have a shelf over here, not a shelf, 6 shelves over there full of planners. I have my carts, you know, the Hobbycraft IKEA carts that most planner girls now have, full. And I'm currently using, bear with me, these Post-it notes and these, which, if I flip it over, you will know, you will recognise this.
I recognise
little flumpy.
I recognise the little guy.
It is. So yeah, I'm gonna be honest and admit that there are times throughout the year where I don't actually have a planner set up. Not because I don't want to, but just because it gets so manic that there's not the time almost, and it's relying on things being to hand really quickly. I mean, my computer screen currently has about 20 post-it notes on there with to-do lists for this upcoming weekend. But I know then in September, little one goes back to school, it's a bit of a quieter period, and I will be in my rings. So I am generally a rings girl. I have, I think, most planners and I switch them out, but my Aqua Personal Malden is my unicorn planner. So when I am in a planner, it will be that one. But day to day, at the minute, with summer holidays, it is lists and post-it notes.
That's okay. I think I can admit this too. I currently have a lot of lists and a lot of post-it notes around. It is very difficult to plan when you are very busy.
Yeah, and I think as well, we're not talking about just having a diary here, are we? We're not talking about having a little diary you put in your bag. I have one of those to write down the appointments. We are talking about a planner, and oftentimes we want to set them up really beautifully. We want them to reflect the season, reflect what's going on in our lives at the minute. And I know for me, it's really important to have it set up exactly how I want, but you've got to then have the time to do that. And it's also a treat, isn't it? I think it's really nice, you know, at the end of a really busy week, do a little bit more for your planner setup, get it up exactly how you want it. Yeah.
You are going to introduce Christmas cards this weekend.
I am.
So is this a taste of things to come?
It is actually. I decided to start off with the cards, and just the cards, because I'm currently completing a workshop. So at the moment, FabPlannerPrint office is in the house. It's in spare room, like I think most of us planner shop owners have kind of taken over at least a whole room with all of our planner things. But the shop has got to the point where it's really grown out of the space. So I have this workshop that we're doing. Internet lights and power went in yesterday, so that's a massive milestone. So once that's set up, some of the FabPlannerPrint things will move over there, but it will also be the home to a brand new shop. But I will show you the little cards. So this is the sneak peek of my little wiggle card. So it's going to be based on personalized items, and Wiggle is going to be moving over to the new shop as well. So he will be featured over there as well.
So the final question I have for you is going to be very mean, and this is probably the meanest on you. I've asked everybody, but I can't answer this myself yet. So if you are only allowed to keep 3 tools, so don't worry about consumables like sticker paper, but you're only allowed 3 tools, what would they be and why? And I will caveat this with, I will accept that an iPad and a pencil are 1 tool.
Oh, you can go off, people. Right. But I would argue that, and this is where Wiggle gets the other side of him from, that you have to have the printer and cutter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm going to say that they shouldn't be included in the 3.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
So iPad and pencil for sure. Computer, I should have said that in the other ones, but a computer, you definitely need a computer. Oh my goodness. Tweezers. 3rd would definitely be tweezers, because if your silhouettes have decided to cut through the paper, you're going to have about 100 little things you need to peel off a mat. And if you want to save your nails, you're going to want tweezers. You need them for vinyl. If you're doing decals, which I do, I use them on my pockets. And even after years and years of using stickers, I still cannot lay a sticker down straight without a pair of tweezers.
Finally, you are doing a Christmas in July sale this weekend?
I am. So I decided to do the Christmas in July sale along with our lovely Hereford Etsy event, because I'm releasing the Christmas cards. So it made sense to do Christmas in July. And if you're not a planner girl, you might not know, but it is a thing, isn't it, Nick? That, you know, when we hit July, we need our Christmas goodies, we need our Christmas fix. So there are lots of new Wiggle items on the way. I did go a little bit crazy because I'm very excitable. And I would say that Christmas is probably one of the only times that Wiggle might be out and out cute, because it's Christmas and you have to love Christmas. But we might see a little bit of bar humbug in there as well. We'll see. But yes, so it's kicking off on Saturday. The first 20 orders will be getting some samplers from other shops. So I know you have kindly swapped a lovely sampler with me. And we have, gosh, there's loads. We've got Little Thought Store, Silent Beauty Plans at Erin, all of our lovely planner ladies, whose products I really love and want to, you know, happy to share with my customers. So they have donated those. There will be 20% off across the whole shop. Wiggle releases, and of course some old favourites I like to bring out previous years. So yes, there should be quite a lot in there.
Well, I know I have placed my poll decision on which kits I want you to re-release for this season. I'm very excited for that. So if anybody is watching this early, make sure that you head over to FabPlannerPrint's Facebook group. Toni does have a poll up right now as to which one she should use.
And it is definitely the place for new releases, and there is such a lovely bunch of people on that group. If you are new to planning, because that's the thing, isn't it? New to planning, it can be a little bit overwhelming. But that's where the community element comes in, because people will really give you a hand, help you out.
Yes, definitely. The planner community in general is fantastic, and with shop owners, you know, we're very supportive of each other. I know Wiggle is making an appearance in my goodie bags for this weekend. I'm also doing Christmas in July. So little Wiggle has already snuck his way in there. I think he will probably sneak his way into my cart as well.
This is the problem, see, this is what happens. It's you fill your basket and rush really quickly to check out so you get those goodies, but it's got to be done, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you take care, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi everybody, I'm Nikki, one of the Hereford Etsy team co-captains, and I am really excited to welcome a very good friend of mine, the mastermind behind TOMeredithDesigns, Tom. Hi Tom.
Hi Nikki, you good?
I'm not too bad, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Have you got yourself a drink, most importantly?
Yes.
Is that gin and orange, I can tell?
I won't tell.
So we have known each other a long time, but your shop specializes in a lot of different products. So can you tell me how you started?
I started by being poked persistently by somebody to start a shop and sell all the random crap I made. Yeah, it really started with the dioramas, really. Mm-hmm. Making them for a party game one New Year's Eve, and sort of spiraled out of control from there. Having sold one on the night, a drink might have helped with that sales, to be honest.
Doesn't it always?
Yeah. But you can't do it at craft fest.
Yeah. Well, you can. But, so you are bringing some new jewellery to your shop for this weekend. What inspired you to do this?
The new jewellery was because I initially wasn't that happy with the first batch of sales and not really taking into account the fact it's sold out. So looked at it again and went, actually that went really well. Mm-hmm. And then had some nice feedback from one of the customers who was really happy with them, and chatted to them a bit, and had some ideas for where to go with it and what new designs to add, and well, created them, and they're ready to go now.
Yeah, fantastic.
One's out in the wild already.
Wow. So you're quite inspired by geeky culture and cosplay, can I be right in saying?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the earrings in particular were inspired by an anime show called Demon Slayer, which is definitely worth checking out.
No.
But yeah, sort of comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, video games, all of it. Actually going to a con was like a big eye-opener for just what's out there and how eclectic it is.
Yeah. Yes, you made me one of the most impressive and unforgettable 30th birthday presents, a Harley Quinn, full-size Harley Quinn hammer.
Yeah, I think that's probably the prop I am the most proud of.
I do love it, and I can't wait to.
It's a bit enormous.
It is. I can't wait to take it to a con. Now you've mentioned the dioramas, and we have to talk about them because they are amazing, and the stories behind them are so wild. How do you come up with the story?
The stories kind of come to me normally. There's sort of two main ways I create them. The first is wandering around charity shops or just budget aisles of normal shops, and see one, and suddenly an idea will pop into my head of, wouldn't it be funny if, or, well, that's pretty much it. Wouldn't it be funny if? It's usually a slightly sadistic humour, but it's a humour.
It's one that very much people appreciate.
Yeah. I think a lot of people get it, which I was a little worried about, to be honest, starting out, that maybe it was a bit too niche.
You were very sorry. You go.
Sorry, yeah, and the other way is sometimes I'll have an idea in my head that I think would be good. That was more the case with the Christmas dioramas. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, wouldn't it be great if Santa got drunk, and what's the fallout from Santa actually getting drunk and not being kept sober by the fairies?
Well, these things do happen.
Yeah, eventually he's got a breaking point, same as everybody else.
I mean, he works one night a year. He needs some time off.
It's the dream, though, isn't it? One night a year, I'll do.
Definitely. So I'm actually having to look down. So you do some amazing handy items, including trading card holders, which my husband owns most of. But that's not their purpose, is it?
No, they're also very good for art, to be honest, which was slightly news to me after I created them. That ACO prints are essentially trading card sized. So you can have a lovely collection of either your own art that you've created or that you've bought from other people, if you have a favourite artist, and then just have a nice collection of that instead. To be honest, I think a lot of people collect the trading cards for the artwork anyway, so it's not completely dissimilar.
Very true. We have a lot around, and your card stands are perfect, and you do them in a number of different options, don't you?
Yeah, we've got a couple of two different woods, nice light wood with pine, and sort of more honey-coloured oak. It's my favourite, to be honest. Not supposed to have favourite children, but it is. Or you can have the ebonized oak, which is a really cool little process, which I started doing that. I liked the idea of having a black card holder, but I started doing the ebonizing after finding out, well, A, that it existed, and B, that pretty much all of the blackwoods are like horribly endangered or super rare. So it was like, okay, I can't use those. That's not going to be okay.
No.
So investigated and found the ebonizing, which has a really nice end result.
And you have a brilliant video on how you actually do that over on the lookbook.
Yes, yeah, that runs you through the process, all the different steps.
Yeah. So it's very, very cool to watch how you've made it from start to finish, and how that special process works to change the colour of the wood.
yeah, it's surprisingly straightforward. You'd think there'd be lots of horrible chemicals involved, but it's essentially just tea, vinegar, and some rust. Yeah. A lot of woodworkers find out about it at first, or first encounter it by accident when they're cleaning off of something metal in their workshop and drop it onto a nice piece of oak they've just finished making normally.
A large eclectic collection of products in your shop. Where do you find the inspiration for your products?
A lot of the blame, I think, comes from friends who makes either ask me to make something just as a sort of a favour to them, or an odd job kind of thing. But if it looks like it's got a bit more potential, then I tend to make a few more and float them on the shop and see what happens. So a lot of it's from that. Some of it's from stuff I know I would like or would want. That tends to be more the cosplay props and stuff. Is what am I particularly into at the moment? What do I think I can make? And what's popular to an extent. But first rule is I've got to like it. Otherwise, I don't feel very invested in it.
No, that's an important.
The end result's probably not as good.
That is very important. So I see some saws behind you. Do you have a dedicated space for creating your wonderful items?
I do, yes. This is it. Yeah, the saws are critical for sawing the wood to length.
Yep.
But to be honest, normally I cheat and use a bandsaw. It's a damn sight faster. Yeah, I've managed to steal one of the rooms in the outside buildings away from everybody else and claim it for my own and fill it with all the usual hobby accessories: cutting mats, spray paint, airbrushes, saws, craft knives, toolboxes, all the usual stuff.
This is a bit of a mean question, but I'm asking everybody. If you could only have 3 tools to use, what would they be and why?
Okay. First one is probably my computer, because of just digging up reference material, finding information out. I do a lot of the design work on it, where I'm sort of scaling stuff and trying to work out sizes. That's my old job coming through, probably. I like to work everything out in theory first, rather than a lot of crafters who sort of much more hands-on and see if it works, and then have another go if it doesn't. Don't have the confidence that they do, I don't think.
No, but you mentioned your other job. You are also, I'm not going to say it,
design engineer.
So you are very familiar with measuring everything and making sure it's absolutely perfect before you start, I assume.
Yeah, that's the idea. Try and have everything planned out in detail beforehand, which makes it, in theory, easier the first time through. But as I think any design engineer knows, you will stuff it up at some point, something fairly mundane, get halfway through the process and go, oh crap, this isn't going to work. So it's not perfect, but it's the method I choose.
Well, I have to say, you Toolsby.
The second one's probably the craft knife / box cutter / it's a box cutter that I use most of the time, to be honest. I'll just pick the little one because it's a bit more universal. Just because it's so useful for everything. I mean, I do a fair bit with foam, so it's critical for that. Cardboards, mount board, like you said, even wood to a certain extent, but they are used a lot with gluing, varnishing, painting, dry brushing, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go paint.
Yeah, so I like it. It's a good all-rounder there, and you're definitely a computer. It's invaluable.
Yeah, that's just my style of working. It is, and there's a lot of people that manage without, and hats off, because I would struggle like hell.
I'd be out of a job without mine.
Yeah, fair point.
So finally, if you could give one piece of advice to somebody who's looking to start Etsy and start selling on Etsy, what would it be?
Can I make it two?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's two that I found very valuable. First one is, don't undersell yourself. Remember that your time is valuable, and don't just price stuff because that's what everybody else is selling it for. You have to, it has to be worth something to you to do it as well. Yeah. And the other is, I'd highly recommend joining the local team. I mean, don't know if I've been particularly lucky, but the Hereford team has been brilliant and a really great help. So all the people are great, lovely people, all want to help each other, happy to market each other, point out faults, like constructively, not just go, that's horrible, why have you done that? Or like offer suggestions and encouragement, and oh, you could do this, or you could sell that, or oh, that's too cheap, or just all sorts of useful feedback. That's apart from the training on how to market yourself better and photography and all the rest that they've taught me. So yeah, definitely team.
Very, very lucky with our team, and we're very lucky to have Sara, who teaches all of these brilliant workshops, from search engine optimization to photography to marketing, and we definitely do get involved with each other and tell each other when we think somebody's underpriced themselves.
Yeah, build each other up, which is nice.
Thank you very much for talking to me today. It's been absolutely amazing, and I highly recommend anybody who is into a little bit of quirky stuff to go and check out your shop.
Thank you very much. It's been a nice chat.
I am now delighted to welcome our very talented and fearless leader, Sara from SHMillinery. Hi, Sara.
Hi, Nikki. Oh, you're bigging me up there.
I know, it's very, very well deserved. Now, we have been friends for many years, but it's really nice to actually sit down and talk to you. So please tell me first how you got into millinery and about your Etsy shop.
Right, okay. Well, I got into making hats because I've always been a hat wearer. I've always loved hats. And in the 70s, shows how old I am, and 80s, when I worked in the City of London, I always wore a hat to work. But I struggle because I've got a big head. And most hats that you buy off the shelf tend to be too small for me. So I started by adjusting hats and then started making my own. And then friends said, oh, can you make me something, you know, to go to the races or to a wedding? And it just took off, really. I've always sewn all my life and created. Someone else just said to me one day, why don't you sell them on Etsy? And I said, oh, what's that? But I set up my shop. It was very simple in the beginning, just with flat pattern sewn hats, and then it sort of progressed.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I love it.
See a wonderful array behind you.
Yes, thank you. I thought I should show a few, and maybe I should wear a few.
Well, fantastic. Well, I was
So,
going
yeah.
to say you have a very diverse range of hats behind you. What is your favourite to create?
It's difficult. I don't have a particular favourite. I like making things that are a bit more involved and a bit more technical. And I'm very into experimenting and seeing what I can make out of different materials. So at the moment, I'm really into ribbon work. I really like working with ribbon.
Wow.
And they give such a lovely effect. So at the moment, I'm quite into ribbon work, but I like making most things. And I was not going to go back there. And any hat. I love a hat.
And have you found that Etsy has changed a lot since you first started?
Yes, it has changed, and in a lot of ways for the better, really. I find it more intuitive now. And what I've always loved about it, and what I love even more now, is the fact that I can sell worldwide. And I've got lots of lovely customers all over the world, and some of them are repeat customers.
Wow.
As well as some in the UK are repeat customers. They come back, they see something else they like, and and it's just nice to know that, especially when people send me pictures of them at a do with their hat on or whatever, and you think, oh, how lovely. You know, my hat is being worn in Central Park or wherever. So, yeah.
Wow. I mean, hats definitely for very special occasions. You know, you want to stand out and want to show off.
It.
So do you take custom orders for hats?
Yes, I do. In fact, only this morning I was chatting to a lady in Alabama.
Wow.
Who is having a custom plush hat made. So yes, I like doing custom orders. And the good thing is, often, say, for example, you're going to a wedding and you've found the perfect outfit, but the colour of your outfit can't be found in a hat anywhere, or something to match, or something to tone in with it. So it's nice to be able to, because I dye my own fabrics and things like that to tie in with other people's outfits. So yeah, I love making custom things from very small, you know, hair slide it could be.
Wow.
To very big for a wedding.
And you were actually, you exhibited in the hat show. Was it this year or last year?
It was last year in London at the hat exhibit, the London Hat Week.
Wow.
Which was so much fun. Yeah. I had a hat on show and we all dressed up and, you know, mingled with the great and the good.
Now, you, apart from all of this, you have 2 other Etsy shops, don't you? Can you tell me a bit about them?
Well, it started a bit because, as I said, I've been a sewer all my life. I used to make my own clothes when I was 14, because being 6 foot tall, there weren't any specialist shops around in those days. So I used to make my own clothes. So over the years, I've acquired hundreds and hundreds of dress patterns, sewing stuff, and I'm very into vintagey sewing patterns and vintage embroidery patterns and things like that. So I thought I would set up a second shop, which is Sara Sells Vintage, literally to downsize my collection. So I sell sewing patterns and embroidery patterns and sewing ephemera in there, as well as other things from time to time. And then, because I sew and make, I wanted to make things that weren't hat related.
Right.
And I thought, well, I can't put them in the hat shop. It would detract from my brand. So I opened a third shop, Aunt Jabisca's, where I sell quite a lot of sort of gothic-y themed things and things that are a bit out there.
Yeah.
As well as some fairly ordinary stuff, but it's all stuff that's really not hat related. And so it's nice to have a different shop. So, I mean, it can be a bit of a job, juggling 3 shops, but it's worked so far, and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's my sort of alter ego, Aunt Hibiscus.
Yes. She likes the gin, doesn't she?
Sorry?
She likes the gin, Aunt Hibiscus. Oh yeah, I was saying Aunt Hibiscus likes the gin.
Yeah, I thought I would set it up as a fun shop. So she's my alter ego, Aunt Hibiscus. She's a gin-loving world traveller, spinster now, because her partner, Hildebrand, I can't remember what I called her, went off to search for the pobble. Because Aunt Hibiscus comes from a poem, The Pobble Who Had No Toes.
Wow.
Had once as many as we. And when they said, someday you may lose them all, he replied, fish fiddle-dee-dee. For his Aunt Hibiscus made him drink lavender water tinged with pink. For she said the whole world knows there's nothing so good for a pobble's toes.
Wow, I did not know that at all. Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we have established that you are a very busy lady, but you also, how do you find the time? Because you are the Hereford Etsy team captain as well.
Well, I like to be busy. I don't go on holiday because I can't, unless I'm going to visit museums and things like that. I can't do lying on the beach. It's just not me. And I like to be really busy from the moment I get up to the moment I go to bed. We barely watch television in this household. You know, it's not us. I'd rather be making and do it. And I love having a big team of creatives to talk to and to interact with and to help, really, because it is very daunting running your own business and it can be very scary. And if I can help other people, I will. It's a bit like when I set up my YouTube channel, which is also SHMillinery. It was to help other people learn how to make hats. Yeah. Because I'm only on this planet for a short while. I might as well teach what I know to other people.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, I like it.
Your YouTube channel was brilliant for people not only who want to learn millinery, but also tips and tricks behind Etsy.
Yes, I put up a few tutorials, mainly meant for the team, but they're useful for anyone who wants to sell online or set up their own business. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I will make sure that I add a link so people can see that as well. So what is your favourite find that you've ever found on Etsy?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm just going to get it.
Okay.
2 seconds.
Oh, wow. That's fine.
Now, we always kept chickens up to last year. We always kept chickens, and chickens tend to make the ground very muddy and mucky in the winter, and it was like a quagmire out there. And I saw this print, chickens with shoes on. And I just thought, that is what my chickens need, shoes on their feet. So that was one of my first ever purchases on Etsy, and it hangs in my kitchen and I love it. It's just a little bit quirky. So there we are.
It's fantastic. I mean, on Etsy you can find all kinds of wonderful things that you wouldn't find anywhere else.
That's it. Yeah. It's really, you find a lot of very unique stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love the chickens with the little shoes on. That's fantastic. Well, finally, this is going to be a mean question.
Oh,
but
yeah.
if you could only keep 3 tools, what would they be?
My sewing machine,
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, because you can always make something with a sewing machine. I don't know which sewing machine I'd choose, because I've got a few, but I'd choose a sewing machine. Probably my vintage Singer from the 30s. A pair of scissors. Mm-hmm. My really good Fiskars fabric scissors. And I have a little gadget, I should have brought it in, shouldn't I, if I'd remembered. that is from the 30s, and it's a little wire brush, a circular wire brush.
Right.
And it is the most useful tool I've ever had in my life. God knows what I'll do if I ever lose it or it falls apart. It's great for brushing and picking up rubbish off of things. And I just use it all the time. It's a great little tool. So yes, those would be my 3 things that I couldn't live without on a desert island.
Yeah.
Along with a bottle of gin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mean question. I still couldn't answer it myself, but I think it's good to know what your priorities are.
Yeah, I could run up, if I was on a desert island with my sewing machine, as long as I'd take the one that wasn't electric, I could run up a little grass skirt out of some leaves.
Well, if we have adjoining islands, then I can see what I can do and we can share the alcohol.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, thank you ever so much for talking to me today. It's been really nice to actually sit down and chat to you about your work.
I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Nikki. It makes a change to be interviewed instead of being the interviewer. Yeah. No, it's been
You
lovely.
have been working extremely hard for this, so it's just nice to actually hear from you directly. So thank you very much.
Welcome to the stage today, jeweller Jessica, who runs ALPOPjewellery. It's really nice to see you, Jessica. Hi.
It's nice to meet you, Sara. Hello.
Lovely paint on the wall.
Thank you.
That's my colour. What we're going to do first is if you tell us a little bit about yourself, your product, and your shop.
Yep.
Be fab. And then we'll get a bit more in depth. So fire away.
Cool. So my name is Jess Metcalf, and I've been making jewellery and dabbling in the creative kind of arts for years and years and years. When I was 11 with my friends, we made some FIMO beaded jewellery and used to sell them at the school fairs and stuff like that. My mum is really creative, and we just started making beaded jewellery together about 20 years ago. And since then I've kind of progressed into sort of sterling silver and precious metal clay or fine silver, and that's kind of where I am now. I used to have a stall, and I've gone through quite a few different sort of transitions with my jewellery, different names, until I decided on A Little Piece of Pretty, or ALPOP for short, 7 years ago now, and that's just totally flown by. I'd finished an open university degree and wanted something to do with my time and get back into just that creative kind of hobby, I guess, because it's quite soothing, and I enjoyed going around craft fairs and selling my wares. And I'm quite relatively new to Etsy, really.
I think it's very much a case of you start off with a hobby, and then the hobby grows, and then you realise you're going to be.
Selling almost becomes a byproduct.
Yeah.
You need to move your stuff on to make way for more stuff that you want to make, and I think that's just the kind of joy of being creative. There's that constant expressionism.
It is. I think that's everybody as a creative finds that. So where do you find the inspiration for your pieces, or does it just wherever you are, whenever you are?
Without kind of sounding too fluffy, yeah, it is kind of all around me. If I see something that I like, I'll think, ooh, how can I make that into a piece of jewellery? Things with the shells, and I know they're quite popular, quite a lot of people do them, but most of the shells that I make are taken from the moulds of shells that I pick up on beaches. We tend to go to Ceredigion a lot, and my family fills its pockets with shells, and I make molds with them, which is what we were doing on the weekend. You know, we haven't been to the beach for a long time, and yeah, these are byproducts of that, of those walks. So it's all kind of, you know, nice memories are entangled with it as well. It has meaning.
Yeah, that's nice. Do you have a workshop or a special area, or do you just make where you are?
It's kind of dining table making at the moment. We've recently moved, and in my old house we had a kind of room. My husband's very creative as well, so we had 2 sort of bureaus that we'd kind of potch about and do things in, but until we get a little bit more sorted, it's the dining table for now.
Who can beat it? Every business started on a dining table.
I know.
Isn't it? You know, Laura Ashley started on a dining table. The Body Shop started on the dining table. So who knows?
I'm just a spreader, and I hate having to be tidy. So I have to pack everything up before breakfast, and it irks me. So yeah, there's boxes of jewellery and bits and bobs dotted all over the house in the kitchen. I'm looking at a lovely pile of stuff that I'm going to be tinkering away with later.
Yeah, but that's all of us. I've had to decamp to the dining room because my studio is very small, so I can't video in there, but there you are.
No,
do you take on custom orders? Do you like commissions, or are you more...
I have a love-hate relationship with commissions. I find that they're I feel a lot more pressured when I'm kind of making them, but I really like the kind of challenge. So it's a bit like Marmite, really. And then people ask me the kind of, yeah, really sort of random requests like this. I had to make something with leather the other day, which I don't tend to dabble with.
Oh, move it
really.
Camera more.
Can you see?
Yeah.
So I was trialing and erroring how to kind of, you know, get the fastenings and fixings so they were all solid and kind of, you know, it looks really simple, but it took a while to kind of think about how I was going to secure everything.
Yeah.
So, you know, I put that on Facebook, and everyone really liked it.
Yeah, nice.
I know.
I do like it.
I would never have made that myself, but yeah, someone asked, so I did.
That's the nice thing. Things can sort of blossom it, can't they, out of conversation or whatever.
Yeah, because
what made you decide to sell on Etsy as opposed to anywhere else?
I really like the platform, and I've bought lots of stuff off Etsy before, like lots of gemstones and kind of silver and, you know, bits and pieces for my home, and I just thought it looked a nice community, and it kind of looks good as well. You know, when you can say, ooh, yeah, I sell on Etsy, it kind of, I don't know, makes everything a bit more kind of official and real, you know. I just, yeah.
You feel it's a professional site.
Yeah.
I understand that. Now, if you were going to give a tip to someone signing up to run their own business, they've been working on their kitchen table, making whatever, what would be your one tip to give to somebody?
I know it sounds really cheesy, and when I was looking at the questions before, I was thinking, you know, it's just really simple. It's don't give up. Don't give up. You may go, you know, if you started selling at craft fairs, you may have a couple of times where no one buys anything, but don't give up and keep making. You know, it's really important to keep pushing yourself and getting yourself out there. Yeah, so that's what I'd say. Don't give up. Keep going.
Oh, that's good advice. Do you think if you're a creative that is the way to go? Just keep going. Because otherwise you would lack in something, because I always feel I just want to make. And if I didn't, I would lose something about myself.
Yeah. All of this is a massive part of me.
Yeah.
And, you know, you bare your soul a little bit. You know, I don't particularly, you know, it's hard standing behind a table with kind of people looking at your jewellery, you know, some pulling kind of nice faces and being really appreciative, and others not so much. It's, you know, hard because you kind of take it sort of personally, and you can feel kind of dejected by that.
Show us more close-ups of some of your lovely items.
Okay, what have I been making lately? So I get I'm making flowers. So this is from precious metal clay. You see?
Oh, a little flower.
Yeah, so a little flower. That's what I started using, and then I've progressed on to kind of sterling silver. I've got my own hallmark.
I like these. I saw these on your shop and I thought they are nice.
Thank you, Sara. I think they're kind of, they're nice. They do go with a lot of stuff, you know, and they're quite simple.
I like the fact they're quite chunky.
Yeah.
Do you take custom work on?
Yeah, I do. A lot of them, I make a lot of these, and I can't find my one, which is a real shame. So these are like bib necklaces. And for my first Mother's Day present to myself, I hand stamped my son's star sign in one. Yeah, I don't know where I've lost it. It's somewhere in the house, kind of post move, but yeah, I do that for a lot of people, and those are quite
that's a nice gift. So you can stamp onto the silver anything they want, really, can't you?
Yeah.
Star signs, dates.
I quite like that. This like these have got names on. I don't know if you can see. Sorry.
Probably not very
Probably
well.
not.
But...
yeah, I hand stamp stuff.
So that's like, is that family names or something?
Yeah, family names. It's an anniversary gift. So it's the husband and wife and then their 3 children.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, which is funny because they live up the road from me. And I see them all the time. I'm like, oh, hello. So yeah, I thought it was really cute.
It can be odd where your custom comes from, can't it? Yeah. I mean, how you're obviously working hard on your jewelry, and beautiful jewelry, and obviously you've got some really great ideas for customized and commission type stuff. But at the end of the day, now I know you have children, so I know that's a big a big part of your day. But at the end of the day, how do you like to finish your day?
You know what? Lockdown has kind of made everyone slow down a lot more. We've got bedtime rituals and routines to a T now, so it enables me and my husband to just kind of sit and enjoy the peace and quiet. Been doing a lot of Netflixing. Yeah, that's about sitting down, and I have started reading again, which has been really nice because I haven't had the time for years. Or we'll both sit on the table and potch away. So when the kids go to bed, that's my jewellery time. Yeah, it's just, it's a bit chaotic.
Well, I have to say, your jewellery is gorgeous.
Thank you, Sara.
Your ideas for like stamping, I love the fact that that is a really plain half circle, and you could just have something stamped on it. That would
I wish I had my necklace, because they do look nice. My sister's got one. I get a lot of my ideas from her because she's a lot cooler than me. So I kind of say what's in fashion and what's not, and she's like, oh, this and this. But yeah, she's got one, and she, actually kind of wears.
Hold it up to your neck just so I can see what sort of size it is when someone's. I see, that's a nice size as well. Yeah, really lovely.
It's it's not fussy.
Well, I really appreciate you talking to me, Jess.
That's all right. Thanks for letting me.
It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Probably not as scary as you thought it would be.
No, not scary, but good luck trying to get some sense out of that interview. Gee whiz. How many have you done today?
You're my fifth.
Oh, bless your heart.
But you will see yourself on YouTube, and I will be putting lots of info about where people can find you. And I wish you all the best. I hope you get lots of sales from this. And if nothing else, it's been just really good fun talking to you.
Oh, that's really kind. Thank you, Sara. It's been lovely.